You can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decisions on how to lead themselves.
Viewers, we want to welcome you once again to our program, Christians in Politics, coming to you from ACNN, Anglican Cable Network, Nigeria. We are happy to know that you are there, and we expect fruitful participation as usual. Today, we are going to bring to you an interesting topic, a topic which we know many Nigerians we want to contribute to. And there are so many stories in town, a lot of stories, accusation here and there, counter-accusation, allegations in one way or the other, and counter-allegations. So we are going to try to look at some of them as much as time will avail us. And we will be focusing on the fight against corruption, the issues that are arising. Then in the studio with me, we have a very powerful team who are going to address some of these subjects that will be raised. And in my immediate left, we have Mr. Isiaya Yakubu, who is a former aspirant, one of the persons really contended during the just concluded primaries for House of Representatives, talking about Zango, Kataf, Jaba Federal Constituency in Kaduna State. And he's here, he's not just a politician without a portfolio. He studied the business administration, and he has a recognized certificate from one of the world's most prestigious university, the University of Harvard. So Isiaya is here live.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Isiaya, I'm glad to have you in the studio.
Yes,
I've been trying to get you here. I think I succeeded today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. And also in the studio with us is a legal practitioner, and who is going to help us to look at some. No, we deliberately decide to bring a legal practitioner so that we'll be well guided, because some of the issues we may be touching may border on legality, and some of the allegations we are hearing, we are already seeing some being lodged in the law courts, and counter accusation here and there. So we have our brother, Mr. Debo Johnson. Debo Johnson, thank you very much for coming. We know that now that we have a lawyer in the studio who will be well guided.
Yeah, sure.
We are sure we will not have any problem. So viewers, we welcome you, and to set the tune, we want to start with one of the trending story, that is the one surrounding His Excellency Governor Ganduje. We are talking about the allegation of bribery, and the video is there in the social media, and we want to have a look, then we take off from there. you just watch that very video, and it's so revealing, and it's coming at a time when Nigeria is battling with the problem of corruption, and the present government is championing the war against corruption. And again, many Nigerians are embarrassed because this governor is a member of the ruling party, APC. So that makes the whole thing more interesting. I think I should start from the politician, because the person we saw in the video was loading his agbada with some cool cash. No, that cannot be cool cash. Some hot, it has turned out to be hot cash. So what can you say about what you just saw in the video and vis-a-vis the war against corruption?
Well, I think, thank you very much. Let me start with the war against corruption of this government. And coming from the same, a very strong, powerful member of the APC, who is a very committed ally of the president. Maybe I would say he was a bit careless, or that's the way God wanted to expose them. To go and collect such money, there must be a kickback. And it's most unfortunate that in our country, some individuals who just want to enrich themselves with wealth that is supposed to be for the good work for the states, education, health, and all such work. And you just want to make sure that you take part of the process of the projects. And that is why when they award contracts, a lot of them compromise. They won't be able to do much. You find out that if they are going to build an hospital, by the time you go there in the next 1 or 2, 3 months, you find out that some of the roof have fallen off because they have compromised the distance. And he will tell you, I don't care the way you do it, and then tomorrow he'll go and commission when it's still fresh and think it's a good job. Likewise, when they are doing roads, the same thing. If you go to the educational sector too, the schools are just in a complete charade. So it's quite unfortunate, and I believe clearly if the APC is quite honest in fighting corruption, they should stay clean, and then let them come on clean, and let's see how it works. I know we are speaking like politicians. I know the legal will tell you that the legal implication, but of course we have to be bad. Corruption in Nigeria is a systemic problem. I've listened to the Vice President said that several times. It's not only in the...
What do you mean by systemic problem? Let the ordinary Nigerians in the street understand
Yes,
that.
if you say systemic problem, it's a process that has started for long. And it's still coming from generation to generation. It's ongoing. I'm not too sure whether they will stop it in times to come. Because if you look at the young person now, that is not in government position, he's still aspiring to get more money. We just contested for election. And I can assure you that when we say about corruption, the younger ones are the delegates. We follow them from houses to houses. And at the end of it, you've been nice to them for the past 1 year. You try to align yourself with them on functions, but on the election day, if you don't give them anything, if you don't bring that cash, they will say you're on your own. Or else, the person that is quite strong, that had more money, you will just go and quarantine them in one room, and then give them food and give them money. At the end, their phones will be completely turned off.
What do you think is responsible for that? Because you just mentioned the young ones. Don't you think that is because of joblessness?
Joblessness is one of them. Joblessness is one of them. But beyond joblessness, I think in the other aspect of it is that it is our personal, ourselves should be dealt with. If I made up my mind that I will not be corrupt, I am not going to sell my vote. I remember I asked one of the delegates that came to meet me, say, Oga, I still have your vote with you. We have a good relationship. What do I do? I say, please, let's just see how it goes. He said, my vote is not for sale. So that's what is happening with the governor. Now, he is saying that it's a doctor distance.
Yes, I was coming to that.
And then he said it's a doctor. How managed would, if you look at that, by this could be seen very clearly that, you know very well that it is nothing but it is his image, it is his voice, it is even inside. If you look at it in any government lodge, any house of the governor, there's a flag.
Yes.
Where the governor sits.
Yes.
And anybody that goes to the house, he doesn't sit in that place. They will tell you that this is where the governor sits. Anywhere Is it in his house? Is it in his office? Is it in the lodge? Anywhere there's a flag. And if you look at the flag, is there. So, besides that again, there are about 16 videos on this thing. 9 have audio, their shots with the voices, and then 6 are without voices. Now, for God's sake, if you are talking about somebody that they've caught somebody red-handed, you know which is red-handed. This is what they call red-handed. Now, we did not tell them that this is not a red-handed.
And even the smile that we are seeing in the video.
Even his mother will tell that this is my own son. Even his mother that gave birth to him will say that this is my original son that I gave birth to. And she does it very well. So he is just trying to make a, you know, that's one thing I find it very wrong in Nigeria. That when somebody is being caught red-handed, he still want to make case that I am innocent. Or you go and pay money to some people. Yesterday I understand some people went to court to stop the process by the State House of Assembly. If you know you're a clean person, go and face them and talk to them. Gentlemen, I am not aware of this thing. And let's investigate. And the person that brought the Jafar said is on the process of whistleblowing, that he brought this thing, and that's why he cannot expose this source.
Now, let's hold it there.
Yes,
and let me ask Mr. Debo Johnson, who is a legal practitioner. What the State Assembly was doing, was it illegal?
No.
So what's your position? Because a court, we learned yesterday, stopped their proceedings on the matter.
So it's so unfortunate that politicians manipulate virtually everything around them. Virtually everything around them. Of recent, the Chief Justice of Nigeria was warning judges. Be wary of politicians. Be very, very wary of them. Do not let them manipulate you. Deliver your judgment according to your conscience and law. So it's so unfortunate. Politicians want to manipulate everything because they want to remain in power.
Does that mean that the judiciary has also been corrupted?
No. We, in every strata
are they in
of
the
life,
process of being corrupted?
You say in every strata of life we always have the bad eggs. There will be the bad ones. We can't do nothing about that. The judiciary has been trying to weed all these bad ones out. So the judiciary under the present Chief Justice of Nigeria is very, very, and they're looking at every way forward to make sure the judiciary is not tainted with all this. But you can't put it beyond the politicians to try to manipulate any.
So in other words, in your opinion, the House of Assembly in that state has the right to do what they were doing?
They have the right to do what they were doing.
Now that the process has been stopped, what do you think is the way forward? Well,
if the process has been stopped by the judiciary or whoever went to court, they can always appeal it. They can find, because it will have been a situation where, look, for the time being, something is going on. Stop this for the time being. So whatever it is, because there's no clear picture around what is really going on yet. But with time, we'll see all this. Everything will come out. And the beauty of truth is, truth can never be hidden. Truth can never be hidden. A video showed the man collecting money. The man has denied that no, it was doctored. Whether it was doctored or not doctored, by the time it finally gets to court, luckily somebody has taken it to court now that stop it. It will not end there. It will not end there. It will go on. And at the end of the day, the truth will come out.
Where does the doctrine of immunity comes in here?
The doctrine of immunity comes in that the governor himself cannot be taken to court. But that does not stop him being investigated. Doctrine of immunity...
just permit me to hold you a little. The governor can take people to court.
Yes, the governor can take people to court.
But he cannot be taken to court.
He cannot be taken to court because he has immunity. And him taking people to court does not mean he will go to court by himself. The State Attorney General can represent him and take people to court on behalf of the governor.
Now, do you think this, what you just have impact on the war against corruption, being that the man is a member of the ruling party?
Yes, it has impact on the war against corruption in the people's perception. Perception is the key word there. The perception. And even in law, we will say, do justice so that the ordinary man on the street can say that justice has been done. So,
not just passive, you can
see and feel that justice has been done. We want to, even in the law courts, we want to do justice in a way that everybody around will be happy, and they will be hailing the judgment that yes, this is true justice. Okay. So the perception here means people will be expecting that at least a government that says, I want to fight corruption, should be seen as doing something.
Okay, still talking on corruption. Let's go to...
Let me say something about...
okay, quickly.
He said about he was saying that the politicians are the main problem in terms of the corruption. And I look manipulating the judgment. And I look at it very clearly. You look at the politicians who have their own, the lawyers too. That the lawyers are the ones that will tell you.
Okay, let's hold it there before it becomes a battle between politicians and the lawyer here. Let's go to the bigger story. Still talking on corruption. Mr. President's WAEC attestation certificate was presented by WAEC officials last week Friday, and it has thrown a lot of things open. You know, people are asking questions. Some people say it's corruption. Somebody even called me yesterday and was said talking about it is a defamation of character on the part of His Excellency, our dear President Muhammadu Buhari. Then there are some people who are going deeper to fault what WAEC have just done. And for instance, some people are saying, and it's in the social media everywhere, that WAEC only introduced, for instance, languages, local languages into their curriculum between 1974 and 1975. And that in this very attestation certificate, Hausa language is included. And Mr. President purportedly wrote this thing in 1961. So people are pointing fingers to things like that. Some people are saying that this attestation certificate contains lesser number of courses His Excellency sat for, if you compare it with the one that the military, you know, there was a time the military addressed the press and they read out the courses that they found in their... So people are saying a lot of things, and now, is there corruption here? Because the person in question now is the champion of the war against corruption.
Yes, he's the commander-in-chief. So
let me say, you are a politician. Do you see corruption here?
For me, it's just we have made mockery of our own country. So many immoralities, things that are bad. Number one, why should Nigeria be the largest country in the whole Africa? He would be the one that will sign the appointment of a vice chancellor, a minister of education, bigger professors, and yet he doesn't have he has just a school certificate. In fairness, nobody, a school cert now cannot go and look for a job within the street in our own society now. Nobody considers it. Today you find out that unless you have a first or second degree, that's when they consider it for any appointment. Now a whole president of the country. It's a shame. To me, it's one of the biggest shame that we ever talk. And he's even struggling to bring out the certificate. I had my certificate that I wrote in 1990. Today, if you ask me, I just go in and take my certificate and I show you.
Now, just hold it there. Let's show a video, then we'll continue the discussion after the video.
We have your records with us. And today, if I'm permitted, I have come with the two possibilities: attestation, which is a possible thing we do for candidates who lost their certificates, and confirmation of results. Both I have here, Your Excellency, and I want to use this opportunity of this courtesy visit to hand them over to you.
When we intended to go to join the military, the army, you have to take an army exam. That's the basic thing. It's only 3 subjects: English, mathematics, and general knowledge. But then, for you to be trained as an officer, you must have school certificate. 5 credits, before you are allowed to have received officer training. So really, I passed this nonsense of
Now, you just saw the video where the certificate was, attestation certificate was presented to Mr. President. What kind of picture does this give to the world?
Well, it has given us a bad picture. And not because maybe I'm in opposition, but I believe very clearly that a certificate that you're supposed to join among your own your formed or your distant your declared in order to contest, because this is part of the prerequisite of making you to submit your form, and that's why he has been going helter-skelter. This is almost what 5-6 years this thing is going, or 5 years now. I believe very clearly that if there are no issues on this issue, if there are no issue on this certificate, this issue of ceremony won't be there. It's a simple issue that nobody should have known that he has gone to request for the certificate. But be that it may, if you look at again within this, when the PDP attacked them, that why is it that you are trying to bring your certificate, you went to request for the decision, and the aide denied that he never requested for the certificate. It was them that brought it to him, and it was Garba Shehu who said it, that the president does not request for, he never requested for any certificate. It was them that felt to bring it back again. And then the people wrote back again and said, no, this was the letter he sent to us through the Minister of Education. So you can see the kind of a game that is being played on this matter. I believe very clearly that it should be school cert hereafter. It shouldn't be among the list of a prerequisite to make somebody become president. If only we have so many graduates.
I wanted to ask.
Yes, sir.
For you,
yes, sir,
who studied in Harvard.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking you, putting this to you.
Yes.
Like the lawyer will put it to us.
Put it to us.
That's why I'm asking. How do you feel inside you, seeing that it is this WAEC certificate that is being debated at this very high level?
That's why I said, for me, we're making mockery of our country.
Okay, now, Barrister, what happened? Is it normal?
It's not normal in any way. I feel it is just trivialities. We don't need all this. If we take a very holistic look at this, somebody who has gone to India to a military school in India, he has been to US War College and all that. Those are higher training than ordinary school set. But because of high service, people want to do high service. And that's the problem a lot of people are having around the president. It is unnecessary. School cert is just the minimum qualification for the post of the presidency. School cert is just the minimum, a list. So if you ask me for my qualification now, I won't be telling you I have school cert and everything. I'll simply tell you I have LLB. And for me to have LLB means I must have my school cert. So I won't start presenting my school cert as my qualification now.
What is becoming an issue here from the calls we are getting and from what is in the public domain is that there seems to be something like forgery here. What people are alleging, let's put it at the domain of allegation, because we are not the one to prove the point. People are free to prove their point in the law court, and people are more competent, we handle such. But the allegation that is here is that there is forgery, that maybe he never sat for this at all. From what you have just said, talking about the least qualification, if you use the word the least qualification, which means you can use any other higher qualification. Then does it mean that the law states that without WAEC, you cannot present those higher qualifications?
The law does not state, like, for example, Section 131D of the Constitution 1999 as amended, that stipulates that a person shall be qualified for election to the office of the president if he has been educated up to at least school certificate or is equivalent. That's if he has been educated up to the level. So it's just a minimum, a yardstick. So if you have something above, well and far above that, you don't need to present the school certificate.
Now, what is the position of the law? If I have a master's degree,
okay,
if I did not go to secondary school and I did not sit for WAEC, can I have a master's degree?
No. You might not go to secondary school, but you could sit for GCE, which is an external examination.
Sure.
We have some of these traders who do that. They stay in their shop, they are traders, they get private lesson tutors, they teach them, and they register for these November, December GCE exams. They pass, have their requirement, and go to the university to have their degree. It's possible.
So in other words, as a legal practitioner who knows better in matters like this, do you think there is an issue here?
There's really no issue. There's really no issue. For somebody who has gone to the where are those schools now, he has been to attended the Defense Service Staff College in India in 1973, the United States Army War College in 1979.
Is WAEC a prerequisite to attend those courses?
Even if you are not gone through WAEC, you will not be able to communicate with those kind of people. You will not be. They will be teaching, and you'll be dumb. You will be dumb. You will be blank. And when you are blank, they will send you out. They will never admit you to such colleges unless you have some form of qualifications. So these are advanced military schools.
Now, if, for instance, I was a staff of the civil service of the Federation, and during, they always do, is it a validation? No, there's a word they use for it. After a while, they ask people to come and fill
verification.
Verification. And there's a verification exercise. And I present, what is it called? My degree. And I did not present my WAEC certificate. Will it be an issue?
For the civil service, they need this step by step. You've done this at so year. They want you to account for your years, even the school.
Does accountability end with the civil service?
It's not only with the civil service. It's not only with the civil service. Even for him to have gone to those advanced military schools, they will have seen the educational line. You've gone through this, you're qualified for this. It's just like we're getting
what I'm trying to find out, because we are always on the side of the Nigerians, the masses, the ordinary Nigerians, who are saying if this certificate issue has happened to a lay person, maybe flood, destroy somebody's certificate, or there's a case of accident, whatever, and the person cannot get his certificate. Will WAEC present this attestation certificate, or is it because it's Mr. President, that is
I'm sure WAEC might not present that. They will require you to go to court, go and get an affidavit, and probably bring a police report. Then, yes, they can give you an attestation that truly.
From the information available to you, do you know whether there was a police report in this case now, a court affidavit, and all that before this attestation was presented?
That was why I said this is just eye service, unnecessary eye service.
On the part of WAEC
On the
officials.
part of WAEC officials. Very, very unnecessary eye service. The man said, my certificate is with the military. Simple as anything. And he could as well present other certificates from the military school he has gone to.
Okay, because of time. So just add this to your response. Okay, hold on. Uche is calling from Kaduna. Uche, speak to us.
Hello?
Mr. Uche, you have the floor.
Hello?
Oh, it's like Uche is not getting across. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, Uche, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Good
go
afternoon.
on. Go on.
Yeah, please, I want to intervene on this issue about this WAEC.
We welcome your intervention. Go on.
Yeah, I don't understand what this lawyer is trying to tell the world.
Okay.
Because I can't see how something that happened in 1961, you are using this thing to compare to what is happening now, which means I can go to Nigerian Armed Forces and attend their schools. Then from there, without my certificate, which means the army certificate now supersedes the WAEC, as he's saying. Because if WAEC is the basic certificate, he should have acquired this very certificate before then.
Yes.
I don't know why he's saying that it is no issue, which means any Nigerian can walk into WAEC office and obtain attestation for a result that was not even that there was not a written letter to the INEC. I just want him to explain this to me. Let me be clear.
Okay, well, the lawyer is saying you should explain it, but time is really not so much on our side. The lawyer is entitled to his own opinion as other Nigerians. Yes, I want to add, okay, quickly do that because I wanted to ask the last question on this.
My dad is a retired military soldier.
Okay.
I remember those days when they were going at that age, they used to come to the marketplace and carry them and take them to the military school.
Okay.
Without even having a this.
Okay.
So most likely at the event of is you're discharging your duty, that's when you try to improve on your distance. If some of them, they asked them to go and write WAEC then. Some did not until when they retired, and they become senior military officers because they attended the PASS college, which is a PSS, they attended FSS, which is something equivalent to masters, and then to all distance. Those things, the check and balance were not too many compared to our days. So if you look at it, sometimes they make a distance. If I were him, he would have just explained to him clearly, this is what happened. During our time, this is how it works.
Okay, maybe during my time,
that is
I
how
was
it was.
enlisted into the army.
They from the market or in the primary school.
I didn't sit for WAEC because it was not mandatory.
Explain this to them. I think people will understand. And then maybe from there, you would have made a way of improving your distance. Simple. But for you look at the past school college, the FSS and
no, even somebody pointed my attention yesterday to you just saw the certificate, the attestation,
the attestation.
And the photograph in
this is a recent photograph.
This is a recent photograph.
So
because if it's attestation certificate, it should carry the photograph
of the original one.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
there was no photograph on certificate in those days. Actually,
is why committing fraud here.
Well, the event will unfold itself.
Okay.
I think a feature.
Okay. Now, lastly on this, before we proceed on break, is we know we are talking on war against corruption.
Okay.
Mr. President, unfortunately, is the subject of this discussion on WAEC certificate. Kemi Adeosu, Minister of Finance, the ex-while Minister of Finance, had issue with NYSC certificate. Adebayo Shitu, former Minister of Communications, has issue with NYC certificate, and even one of the
that's why he was screened out from the contest.
Yes. So now, what does this suggest about the war against corruption? What is the perception? What kind of impact this one is giving to the war against corruption?
Like it has been rightly said, that when it comes to corruption of the teaching people, it is treated with deodorant. In actual fact, these things have not been handled brightly, in that, yes, especially for the Minister of Communications, who came out to say, look, I did not serve when I ought to have served. And nobody is asking questions.
And these people pass through screening with DSS and the other body.
Yes.
They passed through this National Assembly before they were appointed ministers. So Nigerians are feeling that something is wrong somewhere.
Yes, something is fundamentally wrong. And that's why we need to revisit this constitution. The ground norm that says you must have this, you must do this, you must do that, you must not do this. Something is faulty.
Is it that something is wrong with constitution, or people are not complying with the constitutional provision?
Let the constitution even be done in a proper way. Let us all sit down, because if we have a proper constitution, we should not be asking for a school cert for a president of a nation where we have a
I think what we are Nigerians are saying is that the constitution, if things are left like this, the one you are proposing as the proper constitution, I can say, okay, for the office of a president, you must be a PhD holder, which I will vote for. I will support that kind of constitution, because governance is a complex something.
It's a complex thing.
What Nigerians are saying is that if you can compromise this provision of saying WAEC, you can also compromise that provision that is saying PhD should be the minimum.
You say then now we can set strict rules that, look, it's because a lot of people are denying this constitution. It's not ours, it's a military thing. So the military just jumble things together and the whole thing is not working.
Okay, you are proposing that we should amend our constitution.
We need to deal with that constitution.
Okay, well,
the greatest problem we
you
have
are the lawyer. Let's stop there. We'll have a break now. Then when we come back, we are going to look at other issues like marginalization of women in politics and how it borders on corruption, especially what happened during the primaries. And if we have the time, we will round up with eternal democracy in politics. And maybe Isaiah will tell us why he could not make it for this House of Representative race. So let's go on break.
Well, it's very unfair and it's quite unfortunate that women are being marginalized. Women should be allowed full participation in politics. In fact, personally, I think it's time for Nigeria to have a female president. But unfortunately, the Nigerian politicians will not allow it. My advice for women is to stay on. They should continue to put pressure that they should have elective positions and not just appointments. Because women should have a say in every sphere of government, from local government level to state level to the federal. We should have a say. And for us to have a say, we must have elective positions.
I don't think democracy is only made for the men. Democracy is for everybody. They say it's government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Automatically, everybody or whoever is interested should come out and participate. And please let the government of the day give them a go-ahead and welcome them. Say, well, it's a very nice idea. It's a welcome idea. Everybody should come out and participate. And let's let the government give them a go-ahead. And let their fellow women support them. I think they will go a long way.
The interesting thing is that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and also even the Electoral Act clearly supports women participation in politics. And even the gender policy, which the government has accepted as a working document, also supports women in politics. But the reality is there are different factors that limit women's participation in politics. Some of them are cultural, some of them are religious, some of them are social, and some of them are also financial. So especially with what is happening now, what happened is that the major political parties raised the amount of money you could use to purchase their forms. And that clearly made it impossible for a lot of women to participate, which is an economical issue. But beyond that, even those who were able to get the money, some of them were actually disenfranchised during the primaries by the political parties, which also goes to tell you that the system is skewed against women. And I think it's something we've all been calling for a level playing field, especially political parties. But interestingly, we have currently 91 political parties in Nigeria, and we know that not as many of them are as viable as they ought to be. But one thing we also know is that from the 2006 census in Nigeria and the demographics of the country, we know that women, they are actually in majority. If you look at the census that was done in 2006 and of course the way the projections are going. I think another issue also that one has to work on is that women are more or less, they found it a little difficult to come together. And I guess they need to come together. Because if they're able to come together and support candidates who have made it beyond the primaries, I think the issue will start changing. But as we speak, if you look at the numbers of those who qualified in the primaries, both for House of Rep, both for Senate, and even the other elections, you find out that the numbers are very small. And the possibility of having an increase is very remote. But I think between now and election time, we still believe that Nigerians support women and that women should come together and actually decide what they want to do. And I think it's a clarion call for everybody, because we know that the fact that women are not involved in politics goes to show some of the problems we have. If you go to Rwanda, if you go to Ethiopia now, the president of Ethiopia now is a woman. In Rwanda, they have 50-50. Even in Ethiopia, they now have 50-50 in terms of the number of men and women in the parliament and all those things. So, and these are African countries. So in Uganda, you have what they call affirmative action, where you have to elect at least 30% of elective positions are reserved for women. Some bills have been taken to the National Assembly, but it has always been shut down. I think it is high time we start looking at women in politics, not just talk and talk and talk, but actually make the policies work. And I believe we can go beyond what...
Viewers, we welcome you. It's still Christians in Politics, and we are happy to know that you are still there. We cherish your contributions. Now we want to look at marginalization of women in politics. Let me start with Mr. Esiaya, who is a politician. Do you think there is marginalization for women in politics in Nigeria?
Well, I'm not too sure whether you say that they are really marginalized. It's just the policy that plays itself out.
Is it a perception?
It's just a perception, that's what you say. Because if you look at, in all fairness, like some states, it depends on how strong the women are. Because if you look at this primary that just ended, you find out that, like in my own constituency where we run for the House of Rep, no any woman that came out to purchase a form.
Why do you think so?
I don't know. Maybe they failed because they could not afford the money, and the party were being fair to them. Because in our own party, they decided that...
Which party?
I belong to the PDP, People's Democratic Party.
Okay, PDP.
The PDP asked the women just to pay the interest, expression of interest,
okay,
not nomination. And
what's the difference between express of
their
interest
nomination
and
fees is 1 million.
Okay.
Expression of interest is 500,000. Now, we, the men, have to pay 1.5 million, while the women paid 500,000. And then in the State House of Assembly, of course, about a woman, one of them came out to contest, and she paid, the fee was just 100,000. So I really don't know why, because they felt they could not even have, maybe there are lots of problem issues. Maybe they felt they don't have the money may be a factor. And two, some people may feel that we may not even have the men will still take the center stage. And when we go there, they will pull us back. You must, they believe that you have money. Of course, it's not that, that's not the perception. For me, if you don't have money in politics for now, you don't have enough money to go and the cash backing to go into politics, you have a problem. There's no way you excel. So that is where the women. But I believe, and let me advise the women too. Okay. Come out strong.
Yes, I was coming to that. What is your advice to
give the women that you come out. I remember in one of the constituency in my own constituency in Jaba, a lady came out and they said, "Madam, this thing is not zoned to your own area." He said, "No, the why I'm coming out because a woman have never came out to contest on this state of assembly." And I docked my cap for her. But unfortunately, because it was the principle of zoning is strictly adhered to, and that's what it's out. And she did she gave a very good fight. So I think when they come out, and within them again, they should be able to support themselves. Because you find out that sometimes when they come within the women
so
within themselves,
in your opinion,
yes, sir.
You believe that women are not just being deliberately marginalized.
They are not deliberately marginalized.
Maybe
I believe
it's because many of them have not been economically empowered.
And sometimes the courage and confidence to go ahead and face the men.
Okay.
Because if you look at the population size, the women had a larger population in terms of voting strength, more than the men. But I wonder why they don't want to come out. Okay. And sometimes when they go, sometimes within themselves, they have their own crisis.
Now, many women have blamed you people, politicians, that you always hold late night meetings.
Sure, of course.
That is they will not be able to come out.
Well, I don't know. That is politics for you. And I don't know how this thing will not work. Because there are some issues, decisions that have been taken. They don't take them at maybe when there was time we called for stakeholders. We wanted to bring out the delegates. We started the meeting from the meeting was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It couldn't hold until around 1 a.m. because many people were just busy on their own campaigns. There were a lot of campaigns that came on that day, and they couldn't meet up. So, in fairness to women, no woman wants to stay at that time, except she's not married.
Except she's not married.
But more often than not, women, some of them that are strong, they come. The husband, if I'm releasing my wife to go into politics, okay, I'll tell her that, no, go ahead.
Now let me ask Mr. Debo, do you believe that women are being marginalized in politics in Nigeria?
Women are the ones marginalizing themselves. Because you see, they are so laid back. They don't. If you have the population, they don't push. If you have the population, they believe they've sort of straitjacketed themselves into this. We will vote for you. We will do your campaign. But when it comes to participate, let them vote for you. They are laid back. They beat withdraw.
For elective position.
If we are 10 here, and 6 are women out of the 10, meaning only 4 men, you should be the one to dictate what we do. If we say we want to do a meeting in the middle of the night, and you say, no, we are doing this meeting at 10 a.m. If you like, come. If you don't like, come. If 6 of you gather to do that meeting, you form quorum.
Very sorry, my barrister. It's when you are talking that my callers always come. There's Smart, Mr. Smart, calling from Bayelsa.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Smart, please. You have the floor, sir. Mr. Smart.
Yes, thank you. Please, I would like to make a little contribution. I'd like to make a little contribution on the issue of Christians being involved in politics.
Okay.
Because the Bible said in Proverbs 29 verse 2 that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So I believe the righteous are the Christians. Therefore, for a person to say, Christians should not involve in politics, I think that is a fallacy. And it is not the plan of God for his children. Well, we look at the case of Daniel. In the book of Daniel, Daniel 6:7, you see that Daniel was made one of the presidents
Yes.
And every other president give reports to Daniel.
Exactly.
And the Spirit of God, the Spirit of excellency was upon Daniel because he was in the politics of that nation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smart, because you really gladden my heart because I, as an individual, your opinion, I believe, is the right opinion. That is why Christians should be able to participate. Thank you very much, Mr. Smart. So,
besides that, religion knows if there's bad governance, it affects every religion.
It affects every person.
So there's no other Christianity or Muslim. It's like we're all.
Christians will go to the same market.
When we go to politics,
Christian children will go to the same school. So Christians are part of the society. What the Bible says, we are not of the world, but we are in the world.
In fact, that is the greatest problem we have in this country. We've always regarded politics as a dirty game. So we withdrew from it and allowed the dirty people to take over. Now the dirty people who have taken over,
now Pastor Tony from South Africa want to respond. Pastor Tony. Pastor Tony from South Africa, you have the floor, sir. Pastor Tony.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I want to say something concerning what the lawyer said. The lawyer with code.
Okay.
No, we are talking about form. It's not about whether you are qualified. I believe that you have to stand up and speak. I don't know, because this man, it's like it's sympathized with Abu Buhari. It's wrong. What is wrong?
Please, can you, Pastor Tony, can you call back? Because the network is not too good. Can you call back? Let's see if we can hear you me in a better way. Now, you were making a point.
Yes, that.
Talking about marginalization of women.
You cannot, if we're 10 people,
yes,
and 6 are women, is it reasonable that the 4 are not marginalizing 6? The only way we are the 4 of us who are men, we marginalize the 6 who are women, is simply because if they give us the room
to marginalize
them. So in natural fact, you discover that they are the one marginalizing themselves because they're the one pulling back.
Now, look, is there marginalization here? Because this is Christian psychology. Let's give a little bit of Christian touch. Are the women just trying to play the role God has destined them to play?
Because
as women,
you say it has been
the man in the Christian perspective is the head of the woman, not the head of the head of the woman. So are the women trying to stay along that, and men also trying to stand by that?
Long before now, it has been the thing with women that, okay, let us stay back, let us relax, and let.
What do you advise them?
What I will advise them now is that now you have the population. Start mobilizing. Start your mobilization right from the grassroots.
Many of the Edo women Ireland were protesting that they will boycott 2019 election because of this marginalization.
It is not necessary.
Now, is it corruption for a party to allow people to buy form, and at the end of the day, there are some offices they will tactically not want them to hold because they are women?
It is a woman's fault. What the Edo women should have done, you don't need to boycott anything. Get yourself en masse. If in Edo State, the party has about 10,000, go and get 20,000 women, join the party.
Okay. Now, Pastor Tony is back from South Africa.
Okay. I think the issue here is not issue whether Buhari has people or not. We are talking about fraud. Fraud. That paper, if it's fraud, he must be prosecuted, the president. That's how we can lay a good example for the nation. Corruption is not only investing money. Corruption is not only investing money. So anything fraudulent is a corruption. We have to fight. And that's why we are trying to maneuver the issue. It's not right. We have to stand up and say the truth. Whether we are PDP or APC, we are all Nigerians. I'm here as a pastor. It's embarrassment for us. It would be great for us to see our president like that online. It's very bad. God bless you. Bye.
Well, thank you, Pastor Tony. What Pastor Tony is saying, it took us back to the issue of the certificate, attestation certificate. He's saying that there is corruption there, there is fraud, and that is a shame for the entire country. As I round up, can you tell me what happened? Is there eternal democracy in PDP? Why could you not scale through?
Well, in politics, one person is presupposed to be a winner, to emerge as a winner.
Okay.
So it's a matter of understanding yourself. We did our best. We played right from onset up initial. We had issues. The incumbent was there, and then he felt that somebody was challenging him. I was challenging him. That is why a lot of people were talking to me. But at the end of it, I decided to play it low and allow them to go.
Okay.
And he went. But fortunately, again, he was taken again to be the running mate of the governor, who is going to be the deputy governor. And the second one now have to take over Imad. But I believe that definitely in politics, one person is supposed to win. But honestly, in fairness, we need to do more in terms of internal party democracy, because many a times things are just...
I hope you are not stepping completely aside from politics because
of
this.
No, I cannot step aside.
Okay. That is the spirit.
I cannot step aside. I will support when he won.
We want young Christian
when he won, I sent him a text
like
to congratulate him.
Outspoken Christians to continue to push forward. Now, Barrister, can you give us your last word?
Our politics are evolving. Now is a beauty. We're now having these direct primaries. So now, no governor can sit down in his office and say, you'll be next governor, you're going to the Senate. That has been happening before. Look at what happened in Ogun. Look at what happened in Imo. A governor just felt he has become an emperor, so he can now name his own son-in-law. So
you feel we are moving forward?
We are moving forward.
Gradually.
With that direct primaries, we are moving. So the thing is evolving.
We'll hold it at that point, and I want to thank you so much for coming, Mr. Isaiah.
Thank you very much.
It was nice having you. And Mr. Debo, thank you very much for coming. I do hope you will come again. Yes, because one of the callers said you will explain further. So maybe next time we will explain further the points you made today. So viewers, we want to thank you, and those who call in, we appreciate you. We come your way once again. And I am Venerable J.O. Unwanya, the presenter, and I want to say next time we are going to come up with even a more interesting topic. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN.
Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN, is your most reliable gospel TV station that brings to you quality TV programming which build your spiritual life and enhance your walk with God through the undiluted Word of God. Join us on our social media platforms anytime you miss your favorite program. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with the address www.youtube.com/ACNNTV and click that video that matters to you.
Protect your vote is a euphemistic way of saying do everything to make sure you can share blood, you can kill, to ensure that the person you voted for is the one that emerged as winner at the end of the day.
There is never a dull moment on our Facebook page, as we are dedicated to keep you informed with the up-to-date news about the church and other information. Just log on to www.facebook.com/ACNNTV, for you can now watch some of our programs live on your mobile device. Follow us on Twitter with the handle at ACNNTV.com, and you'll be glad you did. So now, there is no longer regret each time you miss any episode of your favorite programs, as you can now watch them on the go, anytime, anywhere. ACNN. We are indeed reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.